good morning, and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, Castbox is your best option. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys, good morning, good night. Thank you for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. Tino here, hanging out with Jay. Today, we're going to be talking about Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I'm super excited to talk about this film. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. And, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. We do appreciate that. We're on all different forms of social media, bodysnatchersmedia.com. So check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the fun stuff. Jay, how you doing today?
I'm great. It's summertime, birds are chirping, people cutting grass, all that good stuff. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, I used to think that until I bought a house. Now I'm outside. Like I hate these birds. I hate this grass. All this stuff needs to chill. But it is what it is, man. It comes with the territory. You want a larger house, you got to deal with the lawn. I'm gonna buy a condo next.
You said, no, I'm good. It's a necessary evil, man. Got to get the grass. Got to cut the grass. Then that way, I can see you, old man Tino, passing out $10 to kids cutting the lawn. I can see it.
No, because I need it done right.
Well, that's when you show them, you mentor them. You form them into the young men of tomorrow.
No, we not. No. So, Godzilla, part 2, if you want to call it that. I've been waiting for this movie for a very long time, and I'm so happy that it came out just because we had 3 Godzilla movies that came out on Netflix. We did episodes earlier. Was it this year? No. We I think the last one was in December. But we covered all 3 of them over the last few years, and they were all terrible. I absolutely hated them. There's no good taking points from any of those movies. So to see this movie, I'm excited. It's just great, man. It definitely delivered. Like all the hype that surrounded this movie. Critics were saying that there wasn't enough conversation with the people. They just weren't on screen enough, that it was all monster fights. So basically that meant it was good.
He said they don't know what they're talking about.
No, I was happy with it, man. Godzilla looked great. Like, yeah, fantastic. I mean, what was your first impression of everything?
Visually, it was very striking. Just how they had the Titans, they call them. Did they scrap kaiju? Like, what do you know what's going on with that? Did they explain that in the first one? I don't remember.
They're not going to use them terms in these Americanized movies. Not often.
Yeah. Well, but it was nice, man. Like, I loved the ambiance of when Ghidorah came. Ooh, sorry. I don't know if we worried about spoilers or not, but surprise. Well, he's in the trailer. It's okay.
He's in every trailer. Yeah.
Like right.
That was the focal point.
But yeah, man, but just when he came on screen and they had that yellow lightning, really clashing around them, I love that. That was great. Visually, that was definitely a strong point. I would say it was awesome.
Yeah, I really don't have, too many complaints. This movie, similar to Brightburn, had another main antagonist that wasn't really Ghidorah, and that would be the other much Caucasian lady that was doing a little too much. Dr. Emma. Yeah, she was doing the most. Really just irritated my whole soul. So, just to kind of break it down for everybody, it starts off with Mothra, who looks amazing. You're going to be so happy to see Mothra in this movie. Just if you're a Godzilla fan, Mothra delivers 110%. The energy between Mothra and Godzilla, teaming up on screen, just flawless. It's amazing. But I don't want to get into too much detail with it because, there's going to be some spoilers in here. So if you're not into that sort of thing, or you've heard a spoiler already and you're upset, I apologize. Back out now. Come back after you see the movie. But yeah, I mean, this woman, she's sitting down with a team, and their Mothra's egg is getting ready to hatch, so it comes out in the larva form. It comes out, and it's going crazy, and she's been working on this orca machine designed to originally talk to whales, but now they can adjust frequencies. They've got what's called an alpha frequency, which is sort of like a hybrid version of Godzilla's alpha scream. And basically it makes Titans rather, chill the hell out immediately. And she gets scooped up, she how would I word it? Like she uses this device because Mothra's about to go crazy. Mothra chills the hell out and was like, my bad. I heard the sound, chilled out. I was like, okay, cool. And then as soon as she does that, the doctors are like clapping and they're cheering and like, all right, okay, guys. So, like we did it, we did it. And all of a sudden, bullets start flying through everybody. They had Tyrion's dad from Game of Thrones came through, snatched up Madison, played by Millie Bobby Brown. If you don't know who that is, that's 11. That's 11 from Stranger Things. So anyways, you got 11 from Stranger Things who comes in. That's the daughter of Madison or whatever. And they get captured. They run off and they end up getting taken down to Antarctica, which is where they've got Ghidorah, frozen in ice. And they nicknamed Ghidorah, which I thought was kind of cool, Monster Zero.
Yeah, I love that. I was surprised at how quick she kind of flipped. Dr. Emma, I forgot her last name that quick, but it was surprising how quick she was just like, oh yeah, I'm about this now. I'm about that life. And so that was kind of surprising to me, but.
Well, and like the thing is, like, I don't want to do like a play-by-play of like the whole movie. I just wanted to give you guys enough to paint a picture for you for like what kind of happens in the beginning. What, basically the good guys that she was with, they go down to Antarctica to, basically rescue her. And when they do so, they're kind of talking amongst themselves. Ghidorah ends up getting free due to reasons. And they're like, bro, did you see Dr. Emma press the button to free Ghidorah? And they're like, no. And then one dude's like, no, I definitely seen it, but she only would have done it if she thought her daughter's life was at stake and stuff like that. So they're basically painting a picture of like, they're trying to figure out like, has she been, captured? Is she doing this against her will, freeing Ghidorah? Or, was she doing this for some other reason? And she ends up talking to the team, because she's still captured. They never get her back. She comes in like a supervillain, man. She comes in hot. Is the only way that I can describe it. She comes in on a big screen. Everybody's like, the good guys like, sitting in like a lab type environment. Big screen lights up. It's her. And she's like, I'm gonna let y'all know that I did do this. I did this because, humanity is all scum. We're destroying the planet. Like she makes like a couple good points. So like you kind of see where she's coming from, but everything flips so nasty on her. And it's kind of funny, but it kind of sucks at the same time.
A little poetic justice. It's all good, but it goes down from there. After that point, it takes off and the action is beautiful. Like, I mean, just the fight scenes between the different Titans, like it was, I loved it.
Well, the fight scenes were great. Like I would say like the first hour, it's very, it's not really chill, but like the first hour is like a lot of like monsters being introduced. And then there's like it's a mini monster fight, I guess you could say. Like it's not mini, like it's definitely like, grand proportions for sure with iconic monsters, but it's very quick. They give you enough to kind of like, hey man, like it's gonna go down later. And once you get to the second,
be ready.
Yeah, when you get to the second half of this movie, it definitely picks up where it's about every 15 minutes you're getting a decent like 5, 6, 10 minute monster fight, and not a single one of these fights is disappointing, like in the least. Like every single one is just amazing.
Yeah, and what I liked most about it is that without dialogues, because they're monsters, you can still get a feel. You can still feel the camaraderie between Godzilla and Mothra, and even later, you kind of see when all the other Titans be like, all right, Godzilla's King Dingaling, we get it, and it's just like, but you could just see it. It was really well done. Like I don't want to say I was surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Did you just call Godzilla King Dingaling?
King Dingaling. That's all him. All him.
You saying that with so much confidence, it's kind of freaking me out.
Cause man, he gotta let it know. He just gotta let it swing. King Dingaling.
Okay. All right.
I'm a coin it. I'm a coin it. It's gonna be trademarked soon.
I don't think it's gonna take.
You don't know.
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
There's a chance.
No, I don't think so.
Somebody loved it. I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody's loving this right now.
I don't know. If you guys don't know, Jay has his head is shaped like Megamind, who happened to be a super villain. So I feel like he feels some like a sort of sense of camaraderie with this super villainish type woman on here.
Yeah, that was the homie.
Dr. Emma was cold though, like, but she got way out of pocket for sure. And then there's a few other things that happen in this. Let's talk about like some of the favorite like scenes, I guess. Like we can kind of dive into it. We're getting deeper in the spoilers, guys. You've been warned. So my favorite scene is when they have Dr. Shiro. There's an area where he's facing certain death. Like he has to detonate a nuclear weapon of sorts, and he knows that like it's about to be his time. Like this is it, and he's walking up like these steps in like an underwater cavern that's like damn near in the center of the earth, and it just looks so cool. There's like molten lava, like magma, I guess you could say, since it's under the earth. I think that's technically the term when it's under the earth. Just coming down, in crevices. There's like high levels of radiation in this area that he's walking in. The ocean, looks all cool. The sea rocks look cool. There's like old statues from an old civilization. He's walking and facing his death, and even though they have all this technology around them, like he pulls out this old vintage like pocket watch, and I just the angles for the way the camera was shot the scene, like everything was just perfect to me. Like it gave you like this weird sense of like sadness, but more pride and honor than anything. And it's been a long time since I've seen something like that captured in a film. I know that's not the crazy monster fight everybody wants me to be, probably talking about, ranting and raving, but for the amount of people on screen that were in this, being to such a minimum, I was really surprised that they had such a captivating scene.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it was very captivating in that, when they were going down into the depths, they was like, oh, they did see them as the first gods. Like that's kind of how they were, perceived at first. Then was, just seeing them walk up the steps in that way, it was definitely almost ceremonious in a way. Like that was probably my favorite scene, like, just to take in. And it's kind of crazy that it wasn't a fight scene. Not saying that the fight scenes weren't good, because those are my every other favorite scene, was definitely the fight scenes.
Oh yeah, no, totally agree. Totally agree. And just, I don't know, man, like everything in this movie was just perfect. Like it's exactly what you wanted it to be. There was the right amount of fighting and carnage, between the monsters. You really felt their presence, on screen, and how inferior, people were in comparison to them. There's like a little bit that they could do. And of course, they make, humans somewhat relevant, due to plot, where they end up having to help Godzilla in a way. Mm-hmm. But I was okay with that because, it's not like humans never assisted Godzilla in any of the original movies. And it was in a way that I thought was just done, pretty well for the most part. I could nitpick at things if I wanted to be extra with, science and stuff. But overall, I mean, it hit the, every palette that it needed to. I was definitely taken back by it.
You had all your chaos and whatnot, but it was great. I was, when I first came in, I was a little worried, of the debacle that we ran into getting at the concession stand. We was standing in line, and I saw it as an omen. I was like, okay, I'm not about to have a good time. Now I got in the theater.
Tell people about that, man. We're not going to make a whole drawn out story, but we definitely waited like almost 10 minutes for some punk ass kids who were getting ices at the movie theater, who just got like icy everywhere all over the counter. Like I just wanted to beat them and their parents. I was like, this is crazy. Why are you guys like this?
Right. Why are you doing this? Yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. But and then afterwards, I'm like, okay, we're in the theater. I'm not gonna worry about it. I took a sip of my pop. It spilled like half of it on me. I was like, oh yeah, this is terrible. But the movie made everything okay. It was all worth it.
Let's be honest here. Godzilla was gonna make you sticky regardless.
True.
It is what it is. But man, some of these scenes were just like amazing. Like there's close-up shots of Godzilla, where you're looking him like dead in the eyes. They made his eyes look awesome. Just the detail on his skin and everything looked really cool. There's a scene where Mothra is rising out of like a waterfall, and it's like a beautiful like light show, and it looks so good. Like
that was the one. That was definitely like the scene. I was like, ooh, she's definitely the most beautiful of the Titans. I was like, ooh, captivated.
Oh yeah, no, she was out there killing it, man. And I'm really happy that it did, because I would have been very upset if they dropped the ball on Mothra and didn't really do too much, But I feel like they definitely used Mothra to her full potential.
Yeah, yeah, and because I was kind of concerned with how they was going to try to, fit not necessarily all of the Titans in, but just to have them all in there. But it was done really well. Just, even though not everybody was in it too heavy, but it was pretty cool. Like, how do you feel like it stood up compared to the older ones? Because I've watched some of the older ones, not all of them. I'm not like a super huge Godzilla fan, but I'm familiar. So how you feel like this stood up compared to the other ones?
I think, I mean, obviously, I think it was better, but I think that they showed homage to the original Godzilla, and that's exactly what they needed to do. So, like, my favorite Godzilla modern movie, I mean, because there's not too many. Most of them are animated, things. But as far as getting a little bit more modern, it was almost 20 years ago when Godzilla 2000 came out, and a lot of people didn't like the design. And it's like at the time, I always felt that maybe that was the move just because it did kind of fit on screen. And what it felt like to me is that you could never get a good Godzilla that had that original style, like, in CGI. I just, it had never been done. I didn't think that they could. And obviously in 2014, we got a little bit, sure. But, in this movie, I mean, Godzilla looks amazing. Like, I didn't know that they could do it. Like, I mean, I take my hat off to them because, with Godzilla 2000, they made him like, like kind of like more slender, elongated, however you want to describe it, where he's climbing around buildings and stuff. And that's not how Godzilla really is, Like, Godzilla is like, he's a tank, man. He just smashes through and does what he's got to do. And, of course, when he's in the water, like, that man can move. But I just felt like he was too much like a serpent, I guess would maybe be the best way to describe it in 2000. Just talking about, the form specifically. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah, this was just better for me. And, having the, the humans help out, like I said earlier, I mean, I think that, that was really important because they weren't completely useless. There's all sorts of things that happen in the old Godzilla movies. And I think like the biggest takeaway for me though was just how helpless mankind is in this situation. It's not just them like freaking out because there's a giant lizard smashing their city, but they needed to lean on him. They needed to depend on him. I think one of the things that I probably would have liked to see more if they do another movie is just talking a little bit about the lore and the civilizations and stuff, and it's obvious that they didn't dive too far into fake lore, for what Godzilla was, throughout humanity, in the past and all that kind of things, because he's been on the earth, since before humans were and whatever. I don't know. They kind of dodge out on purpose. Is all I'm saying. Like, if they the less they say, the less follow up they'll have to do later on it. The less discrepancies they're going to have.
Right. And you already know the internet is going to rip into them at the slightest discrepancy. So I get it.
But I thought and Jay, you might agree that the balance was there to where some things, if you really want to nitpick, were there. Like as far as like, plot due to, science and stuff like that, or like sometimes they would give one word responses. Like for instance, I think there's an issue where they have a submarine and they need to shoot torpedoes. And they're like, all right, fire the torpedoes. And they're like, we can't, it's broke. And he was like, can you fix it? He was like, I said it's broke. And I was just like, you couldn't have, said like, I don't know, like the chamber that they go down is smashed or, whatever, just make up a little something so that it just made a little bit more sense. But for children seeing it, kids don't care about that crap.
Right.
They want to get straight to the point. Like, Mom, he said it's broke. Shut up so I can listen. You know what I mean? So I think in that right, like it had a nice little bend to it for both audiences. I mean, the whole family should be able to go and see this movie and have no issues.
Oh yeah, not at all. And that could be another reason why they didn't delve too deep into the lore, like you were saying. And so we got almost more like sound bites of lore. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, they saw Miss Guys in the past, just so we can see how they respected them in the past, but without going too deep into it. So, like you said, everybody will definitely be able to enjoy this. If you're into the whole, Titans destroying stuff.
Oh yeah, and anybody who saw the most recent trailer with Godzilla would have seen that he was glowing bright red, and
Mm.
this occurs towards the end, for the final bout. And I'll say this: he's basically Super Saiyan Godzilla. Like it's dope. It's so dope. Like the last ending fight, it was what, Jay, maybe like a half hour.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Including, yeah, damn, yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, and it's not even just Godzilla and Ghidorah. I mean, like it's a whole lot of Titans, wrapped up in this scene, fighting each other, helping these two alphas. It's great, and I think one of my favorite things, getting a little bit off subject, what I was saying about Ghidorah is Ghidorah was originally, at least in most iterations that I've come across. I'm not going to claim to be a Godzilla expert, but I am a big fan. He's usually an alien, an outside source. He comes to Earth because he wants smoke. And that's when you got to deal with Godzilla. Because these are two alphas, but they don't originate on Earth. And I think the way that the story kind of builds around that and pays homage to what we're used to seeing, like that was awesome. Because I would have been pissed like if they just made it sound like Ghidorah came from Earth and for whatever reason they both went to slumber at the same time. Like it would have been kind of whack.
Yeah. No, it was well done, man. I don't have too many problems with it. Like honestly, with the movie, like as a whole, my only issue was the Emma's assistant guy, Sam something.
Yeah.
When they first introduced, when they were talking about Ghidorah for the first time, and he called him gonorrhea, and I was like, don't do that, don't disrespect him. Like,
Mad disrespectful.
But besides that, that was my issue. But I'm sure they just did that, because like you said, they don't want to use those names like that, so they probably had to poke fun at it, a little bit, and it was like, okay, we can get past it. We make the joke, so you don't have to, and then we just keep going.
I suppose. I don't know. Didn't care for it personally, but the rest was pretty solid. But you know what this movie did for me is when I was watching it, it felt like the very first time I watched Jurassic Park 1. I was a little kid, but I'll never forget the feeling you get when you see these enormous monsters come to life. And I guess like maybe the comparison kind of came into play where you're looking at these monsters and you recognize them as monsters, but like they felt that they had more control than they actually did. Like they weren't willing to accept the fact that, you've got something locked up that's much more powerful that you at the end of the day, you can't control. It's not going to happen. And that's how I felt for the entire, Godzilla movie, when they're making statements on whether they be, the protagonist or the antagonist, it didn't matter. Like, they just like, oh, we're going to, get rid of Godzilla, we're going to kill the Titans or, whatever. Like, no, you're not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm like, how is that the plan? You know what I mean? Like that, but that's the military. That's how that goes. America.
Yeah, I mean, it's cliche a little bit, but I mean, it's good, man. It's exactly what you want. It's a decent, simple movie, kind of like Pacific Rim, but like better, where you got like action and stuff. Pacific Rim, I think, had too much with the people. I think we needed more battles with the Jaegers and more battles, I should say, between the Jaegers and the kaiju.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was going to be any more lore, it was going to be specifically with like this alien planet, just so it kind of builds up a better story. Because for me, lore is always everything, which is why I kind of felt that way about, I should say I felt good about, Godzilla, because they added some backstory. Of course, we wanted more, but I honestly don't think we're gonna get too much more than what we've gotten. End credits. Definitely stay for the end credits. They add a scene, pull it old school, like as if it's Marvel. They and even when the credits are coming down, they show like little clips of like what is kind of going on after this whole scene, basically between this and what's going to be the next movie. It's just like tons and tons of foreshadowing, like little snippets, like newspaper articles and stuff like that. And after all that ends, then they actually have a scene, and man, it's I mean, I guess I'm not surprised at what you got at the end of it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was kind of ready, and I was still surprised by it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what comes next. Well, when it comes, and I'll be ready. I'll definitely be there because I'm locked in after seeing this one. Because the first one, the previous one from 2014, I think. Okay,
Yeah.
it was all right, but this one, I'm here. I'm here for it all. You got me.
Well, one thing that kind of played into my head is there's a scene where they're in like an underwater lab, and they see Godzilla like swimming by, and it's a really really cool scene. It's just done so well. It kind of reminds you of like Deep Blue Sea when they're looking out into the waters and they see the sharks, swimming up, or if not that, more recently Megalodon, when Jason Statham is like sitting at the bottom and I think it's like a little girl, one of the scientist little girls is down there, and the shark like comes up to the glass, which is like this huge open futuristic like underwater building, and just starts smashing the glass. Like that's what this feels like. But what I noticed, and I don't know if you did, is they didn't put a lot of emphasis on what the military can do. They only showed kind of like these futuristic, like the Orca machine that the scientists made.
Mm-hmm.
But did you peep game at like just the fact that one, this lab exists under the water and it's massive, and two, like it had these crazy like underwater cannons that, to my knowledge, don't actually exist.
Right. And I know for a fact that they at the very end, the last fight, and it was like, all right, before the last fight, actually, I'm sorry, I lied. And they're like, we got this weapon. It's going to kill everything within a 2-mile radius. And I was just like, man. So maybe they'll do something more in the future with that. Maybe it'll be, I can see maybe they'll get into some fights and Godzilla have enough of them bothering him with his weapons. And then they'll be like, all right, I'm about to blow y'all backs out.
I don't think so. I think that they're going to rule it out because of the damage that it does to the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Just because when they fired that weapon, they fired it underwater and it killed, every fish within the 2-mile radius, like sea life, just started immediately floating to the top of the water. Boom, dead. So, they can't use that. Plus, with the whole plot of this actual movie, I mean, I guess maybe they could, and then, it would just be the same movie again, though, where they
right,
go, where they're like, Godzilla's bad. Wait, there's something worse? Okay, we're sorry. They're not gonna. I don't foresee them doing it. But what I do think they'll do is go in an alternative direction, and having this kind of technology being foreshadowed, ever so subtly in the background. Well, I mean, it is really kind of in your face, but they don't put emphasis on it. I think that they might go the Mecha Godzilla route.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Like we got to fight fire with fire. We refuse to be, extinct or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We've been studying him for X amount of time. We can do this. Introduces, new scientists from Japan who's got all this, the latest and greatest technology, or maybe even, like an alien race or something. But I would love to see where this franchise goes. And the next movie is coming out much quicker than I thought. You said it was coming out in was it 2020, Jay?
It's either 2020 or 2019. I know it's really soon though. I know it is.
I would be blown if it's going to be this year. It's next year, if anything.
Yeah, 2020. You're right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It was good. Everything hit for me. I'm actually on IMDb right now, like just looking at the ratings, and it's got like a 6.4 out of 10.
Oh man, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's that low.
And I'm gonna have to completely disagree with that. Like, I mean, I guess if you're looking for like an award-winning, groundbreaking film with actors and stuff, then sure, maybe it makes sense. But I mean, if you're looking for something that has all the old school, classic feels with modern technology, and they don't water it down with some actor we don't care about, you get good acting for sure, but it's not. Mm-hmm. That's not what's being highlighted here. We came here for monsters. We want to see monsters, and we want it to look well. We don't want it to look like a mess that Michael Bay created because he likes explosions a little too much.
Yeah, no, and like you were saying before, it's something that everybody could watch. It's not too over the top in any way or another. I think that the fact that like you said, that it was 6.4, you said, out of 10.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah, like that's crazy. I feel like this is certified heat. Like this was definitely maybe one of the best movies of summer 2019. Just saying.
Well, it does have some tough contenders, because we're going to be dealing with, movies that are going to make more money just because of what they are. So you've got the new Toy Story that's coming out this summer. You've got Men in Black, the new one with Tessa Thompson, coming out. So it's definitely got some contenders. But I think that if any movie that isn't a freaking superhero film needs to be highlighted, it's certainly this one. I think this one is going to open up some more doors, and we needed this, man. This is like a great Godzilla film. Like this put confidence back in me that they know what they're doing. Because 2014, I didn't not like Godzilla. I just felt that we didn't get enough of Godzilla, and I didn't feel that the enemy that he had in that particular movie was like worthy of him being on screen. It was kind of like a cop out. It reminded me of remember the old, not Lou Ferrigno Hulk, but like the early 2000s Hulk. I think it was like maybe 2002 or three maybe. Yeah. That dude fights his dad, who gets hit with radiation, and like basically it's Hulk punching. It's like Sandman, like the dude like goes into the ground and forms with the earth, and it was just weird and corny. We didn't want that. We wanted him to fight Abomination, or like somebody he can really throw hands with.
Say, what is this crap?
Oh yeah, I was upset like as a kid, like just livid. I was like, what is this? Stupid. The only good thing about that movie was that off subject again, but is that was the only movie that when kept true to the comics, that the angrier Hulk gets, the bigger he
got. Yeah, that was cool. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally can see why they took it away, because that's just like a fake ass feat, but it was still cool to see on screen. So maybe I doubt they'll play homage to that in this new Marvel universe, but I'm okay with it. I at least got to see it one time. So, all right, Jay, was there anything else that you wanted to add in this short discussion before I take us out?
As like I was saying earlier, as somebody who is familiar, but I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, I would still go watch it. I'll go watch it again. Like, I would definitely recommend it for diehards, not as diehards, somewhere in the middle, or maybe just somebody that's just trying to, watch some stuff get blown up. It's good.
Okay. And I totally agree. I probably would have used the term casuals instead of saying diehards and not so diehards, but that's just me.
You got diehards, middle.
Whoa, I'm not coming for you. Don't I'm just pointing out the obvious here.
Disrespectful.
That's my middle name. So. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you find some time and you'd like to converse with us in the comments, just, your own thoughts, if you agreed, disagreed, maybe some things you'd like to see in the future films, or even just, how you felt about like the end credits or whatever, let us know. I mean, we'd love to talk to you guys about it. So, that being said, head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to our podcast, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff. And, have a good day or night, whatever's going on.
Whatever's happening, either one.
All right, bye guys.
All right, peace.